Hello, everyone, friends of the show. If you've been watching my channel, Joe the Lawyer, you know that I've covered this story where Bruce Springsteen was charged with a DWI. Now, this story came out right after the Super Bowl, and the reason it was kind of a big deal or made more headlines than it normally would was because Bruce Springsteen had a Jeep commercial in the Super Bowl. And in that commercial, which was called The Middle, he went to a church in the middle of America. He was trying to unite America through his message. And then boom, right after the Super Bowl, it comes out that he had been charged with a DWI. Well, if you watch my prior video, I told you that this charge was a little bit of BS, and it turns out that I was correct. You can see the title of this article here: Bruce Springsteen DWI, reckless driving charges dismissed at hearing. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Joe Pometto, Joe the Lawyer. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's a free way to support the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so help me get to 1,000. Most people who watch the channel are not subscribed, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button and get me to 1,000. Now, you can see here, Bruce Springsteen, DWI. Singer pleads guilty to consuming alcohol in a closed area and receives a $500 fine. Let's dig into the article in a bit more depth. At a virtual hearing Wednesday related to the charges stemming from Bruce Springsteen's DWI arrest at a New Jersey national park in November, the U.S. government dismissed the charges of DWI and reckless driving against the singer. And just in case you guys are wondering, this is the show, Joe the Lawyer. He was charged in a federal court, which is rare for a DWI, but it happened because he was on federal grounds. He was at a national park. As part of a pre-hearing agreement between U.S. attorneys and Springsteen's legal team, Springsteen agreed to plead guilty to consuming alcohol in a closed area. During the hearing, Springsteen admitted to having 2 small shots of tequila at the Gateway National Recreation Area. Now, before we get into the rest of this article, I forgot one thing, a ritual of this show, the same time sip. Okay, so we're gonna plug it in right here. I got my coffee, the nectar of the gods. First the coffee, then the justice. Whatever you're drinking today, be it coffee, tea, liquor, beer, raise your glass with me. Cheers with me. It tastes better when we sip together. Cheers. Delicious. All right, let's get back to this article. However, as the judge overseeing the case noted, up until 3 summers ago, alcohol consumption was allowable at the Sandy Hook, New Jersey park. And for those of you who didn't know, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is from New Jersey. In the case of United States of America versus Bruce Springsteen, the singer was formally charged with operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, reckless driving, and consuming alcohol in a closed area. Soon after the charges were read, however, Adam Baker, assistant U.S. attorney for the government, admitted that pertaining to the DWI and reckless driving charges, the government cannot sustain its burden of proof. And it's a heavy burden of proof. Reasonable doubt. It has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. The blood alcohol reading was 0.02, which, as the court is aware, is well under the state limit of 0.08, Baker said. And that is the reason why I told you guys that I believe this case would be dismissed from the beginning. The BAC was just far too low. After pleading guilty to the consuming alcohol in a closed area charge, Springsteen, who has no prior criminal history, was handed down a $500 fine. When asked how long he needed to pay the fine, Springsteen told the judge, "I think I can pay that immediately, Your Honor." "Yeah, I bet you can, Bruce." Springsteen's lawyer, Mitchell Ansel, told Rolling Stone in a statement after the hearing, Mr. Springsteen is pleased with the outcome of today's court appearance. The prosecutor was unable to provide the necessary evidence and facts as it related to the charges of driving under the influence and reckless driving, and therefore dismissed both of these charges. Mr. Springsteen, who has no previous criminal record of any kind, voluntarily pled guilty to a violation of consuming an alcoholic beverage in a closed area, agreeing to a fine of $500. We want to thank the court and will have no further comment at this time. A National Parks Service rep previously told Rolling Stone that Springsteen was arrested in Gateway National Recreation Area on the New Jersey coast on November 14th. He was charged with DWI, reckless driving, and consuming alcohol in a closed area. Springsteen was cooperative throughout the process, the spokesperson said. And that's always a good thing. It's always a good thing to be cooperative. According to a police report, Springsteen told an arresting officer that he had consumed 2 shots of tequila in the last 20 minutes. Springsteen smelt strongly of alcohol coming off his person and had glassy eyes. The report continued before stating that the New Jersey singer, who was arrested for DWI, performed a standardized field sobriety test and observed 4 out of 6 clues on the horizontal gaze test. A source familiar with the case told the Asbury Park Press that Springsteen's blood alcohol content was 0.02, a quarter of the legal limit. Let me drop a comment here. That horizontal gaze nystagmus test, that's also a load of BS. A sober person could show clues, okay, on the HSAH horizontal gaze nystagmus test, HGN test. Okay, almost anybody, no matter what time of day or no matter what mental state they are, could show clues on the HGN test. Here's the other thing about the HGN test: it's an officer's subjective opinion as to whether or not those clues actually exist or not. Right. So what it is they take the pen. That's the famous pen test. Okay, or a little light stick, and they move it over here, and the person watching it, their eyes follow all the way to the end of their range of vision, right? As far as the eyes will go. And if the eyes flicker a little bit, that's supposed to mean that they're under the influence, depending on the rate of their eyes flickering. Number one, that could be different per person. Number 2, there's an officer watching this happen, okay, and he can say whatever he wants, all right? After, oh yeah, I observed 2, I observed 3, I observed 4 clues. There's no way to fact check that after the fact. You would need a camera literally up in the person's face in a well-lighted area to see how they actually performed at that time. And when are DUI tests done? They're done right there on the spot. So that test is BS. It's not even admissible in Pennsylvania courts. It's not admissible in a DUI for Pennsylvania courts. Let's continue with the article. Soon after news of the arrest emerged, Jeep pulled their Super Bowl ad starring Springsteen. It would be inappropriate for us to comment on the details of a matter we have only read about and we cannot substantiate. A spokesperson for Jeep told Rolling Stone, "If that's not a colossal dodge, I don't know what is." But it's also right that we pause our big game commercial until the actual facts can be established. Its message of community and unity is as relevant as ever, as is the message that drinking and driving can never be condoned. Following Wednesday's hearing and the dismissal of the DWI and reckless driving charges, a spokesperson for Jeep told Rolling Stone, "As we stated previously, we paused the commercial until the facts were established. Now that the matter has been resolved, we are unpausing the film." However, at press time, the middle ad had not yet appeared on Jeep's YouTube page. Okay, so I got a couple of comments to add here. Number 1, 2 shots of tequila and a 0.02. I actually would have expected it to be a little higher if he had 2 shots in the last 20 minutes, but maybe the boss had also just had a hefty meal. But he's lucky he didn't have more. You know, the officer said he smelt strongly of alcohol. That's probably true because tequila stinks. Now, some other type of alcohol may not have had such a strong smell, may have avoided charges altogether. Probably not, but you never know. Just throwing that out there. So, I said from the beginning that I believe that this would be dismissed or knocked out because of 0.02. I was correct on that. This was just a terrible case. Okay. Now, whether the U.S. attorney here would have dropped this case if it was a regular Joe Schmo, I don't know. I think they actually would have, because a 0.02, a lot of officers won't even charge that type of case. And so I'm not going to see that come across my desk. I handle a lot of DUIs. So maybe because this was a federal land, we're talking Bruce Springsteen, they actually did file the charge. And I'm a little bit surprised, but then again, maybe not, because if you let the boss go, imagine what a story that in and of itself would be. As far as Jeep, my initial reaction was, I can't believe they took this ad down. It's a little overblown. The ad it has a really good message. Whether you think it's a good ad or not, it's got a great, very positive message on both sides of the political aisle. But I can understand why Jeep did it, because they're an automobile manufacturer selling automobiles, and their spokesperson just got cited for a DWI. So I can understand it. If he was selling a different product, I would be a little upset if they took him down over something like that, especially while the case was still pending and before he was convicted. No company wants to condone a DUI or a DWI, but just because your spokesperson gets one doesn't mean that you are condoning it. Okay. But if you're an automobile manufacturer, I kind of get it. I understand where Jeep was coming from. I hope they put that ad back up. Thank God for the boss, free Bruce Springsteen. Okay. He beat the case and he will remain a free man. And I hope he paid that $500 fine on the spot for drinking alcohol in a closed area where he wasn't supposed to be drinking it. So thank you for tuning in to Joe the Lawyer. Hope you enjoyed this episode and you learned something. If you like my content, please subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000. I am almost there, people. Go ahead, get me to 1,000. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much and have a great day.